This is the big idea behind what we're doing.
You're listening to This Week in No Code plus AI, with weekly episodes sharing the latest advancements of AI, plus exclusive interviews, founders using these tools. So without any further ado, let's get started. Welcome to This Week in No Code. I'm your host, JJ Englert. David will be joining us in a second for an awesome interview that we have for you this week with the CEO of TaskMagic, Jeremy Redman. Also, a rich history in the no-code landscape, starting back in 2016 and much more. It's a long interview, but a really good interview with a lot of context about all the different no-code players, everything that are involved with it. Also, there's a lot of swearing in this one. So maybe don't play it around kids. But otherwise, let's get right into the interview with Jeremy and David. Here we go. If you're looking to learn the latest skills in no-code and AI, you have to check out nocodealliance.org. No matter if you're just starting out or if you're a seasoned pro and looking to specialize even further, we have courses at all levels and in all different tools. And we're adding new instructors on a monthly basis. So go to nocodealliance.org, create your free portfolio, check out some of our courses, even apply to jobs while you're there. And then for employers looking to tap into the greatest AI and no-code talent, you could post a job there for free at nocodealliance.org. Immediately access over 2,000 of the world's best talents. And if that's not enough, we have a feature where you could boost your job to immediately access 5,000 more no-code and AI devs throughout curated networks that we've put together with some of the best developers there. So go to nocodealliance.org to get started, and I hope to see you there.
Well, it's a pleasure, absolute pleasure, to have the most energetic video producer on Twitter. This guy, the founder, findee of TaskMagic, Jeremy Redman. Welcome on.
No way. I thought you were talking about JJ for a
No.
second.
Your videos are like
You got energy.
just excitement. I watch the videos and I'm like, I have no idea what this guy's selling. I just want it.
I don't know. That's what's funny, because that works for whatever reason. Yeah. It's funny to me that I don't even think people see it, right? Mm-hmm. I never think people are even doing it, and all of a sudden you'll have some YouTube video or some clip on Shorts or Twitter or whatever it is, and then you'll see 10 sales, and you're like, huh. No one liked this shit.
Yeah.
No one engaged with this, but voyeurs, right? So shout out to the voyeurs out there that watch, don't say anything but buy.
Yeah. But also, it's okay if you leave a comment to let us know that it was good.
We'll make more stuff.
So we can do more for you. So
I think that's the funny part of it is I will just keep making more stuff even if no one engages. Because I really love just making stuff, right?
And that's what you need to do to find success personally,
Yeah, I agree. If you're making it for other people, it's crap. You're doing it for the wrong reasons. Yeah. You can make it to make sales, right? That works, But if you're making it just for other people or making it just to get famous, I'm not famous. I'm not anything. I think we have almost 6,000 YouTube subs or something. Maybe 900 or something on Twitter. I don't know. I feel like I'm shorting it all. I'm shorting myself. But at the end of the day, what matters is it does drive traffic to the site and traffic to what we're doing.
Exposure, awareness, branding.
Yeah. I'm not selling our community enough. It's still invite only, and it has 1,400 people or something like that. I have more people in our community than I followers on Twitter or X.
But that's the point, right? You don't need the numbers, only matter a little bit. The business speaks for itself. You got the right thing.
I learned early on. I grew an Instagram account to 50,000 for my first company. But it was a soulless 50,000. It was a quick
they never engaged.
Never engaged. I try to sell something, crickets, And then this time around, growing a following, it's more engaged, and I'm able to actually push stuff with follow through, and that taught me early on that it's really not the numbers; it's about those relationships, and you got to build those relationships in order to get that follow through, that build that trust, that authority. A lot goes into it.
So for me, I've always wanted to find 100 people that obviously love your stuff. It's not a new thing; it's not a Jeremy thing.
Yeah,
but it's so evident that when someone, there's 1,400 people in this private community we have, and there's maybe maybe like 500 are pretty active, but there are a few dozen very active people that I give like extra cloud hours to or whatever, like just for helping us out, like constantly. And I don't think until you get to 100 people, like 100 very engaged people, individuals, or a few dozen, they like do work for you. So it lessens the burden on customer support, things like that, where it really is quality over quantity in almost every single thing that you do. Like I was saying, I think your YouTube, JJ, or both your guys' YouTube, has like 2,000, 3,000 followers, something like that, subs, and 10% of it is views.
Yeah.
So like that's great engagement. A lot of fucking no-code people, well, we're on a no-code, yeah. Sometimes sorry, shit talk. But a lot of people who I was trying to like biz dev with, like on YouTube, and they were influencers on YouTube, and they had like 30, 40,000 followers or something. Such horrible fucking engagement. And it's like, but it's $5,000 a sponsorship. And I'm like,
because the number's there.
Yeah, because that number's there, and it's like, who's gonna watch this? I can see no one watches your videos, So it is really quality over quantity in almost everything you do.
It's tough. There's a balance for sure. I have put out like maybe 30 or 40 TikTok videos early on, and they weren't really quite doing it for me. But they still get views every single day, like in YouTube as well. And so like I put it out there. I haven't done anything with them, but they're still out there tracking views and everything. And so that's adding more exposure and everything over time that I don't have to do, that I'm very excited about. So
it has to be evergreen.
Yeah.
Right. Like it has to be good evergreen content that's just as relevant today as it is, 12 months from now.
This is one of the things we talk about the podcast, because usually we have a news segment at the front. Well, news kind of gets old, right? Like it's only news for a couple of days. The interviews are more evergreen. You can watch them, but you kind of have to scrub through the news 6 months later when we're announcing, ChatGPT exists. Like that's not relevant.
Yeah, right. That's not relevant anymore, but this interview might be.
Yeah, exactly. So, and also the other thing, before I'll ask the question I was going to ask, is we definitely live in a bubble. Like a tech bubble of like, we live on Twitter and we know things that seem super obvious. And there's just so much of the country, the world, this whatever, that is like still so tech illiterate.
Yeah.
That
That's
like
why
doesn't know.
I don't. I'm sorry, dude. I'm gonna have to apologize for my energy here, because like I'm stepping on your toes, David. I could feel it. So just push me back down whenever necessary, and I understand.
I'll just hit the mute button. It's fine.
Exactly. Mute the fucking shit out of me. I deserve it, to be quite honest. I annoy myself sometimes. So, let alone my wife. But it's funny to me that there's so much ground to cover in NoCode. I'm still so excited by it. Yeah, other people seem to just fucking move on from NoCode, right? And it's like, whoa.
AI?
Into whatever the fucking shiny object is. Right? Like AI or NFTs or this is a joke, right? Like people, I think it's the whole Peter Thiel, like, don't talk to me about something that's not your a priority, like your job. And people just like kind of, it was set. NoCode was very sexy 3-4 years ago. And the problem hasn't been solved, and people are because now we're in the hard territory where like you need to build businesses around NoCode, and you can. But that's more difficult than just popping up an app or a web app or whatever you want.
Building a NoCode platform is an order of magnitude harder than just Asana. Right, like just building right. Another task management.
I wish. Yeah, exactly. I agree with you completely.
Speaking of NoCode, let's get into some NoCode stuff. When you are talking to YouTubers about sponsoring, what are you sponsoring them for? What are you selling these days?
I'm selling TaskMagic.
All right, a black shirt with a black logo. And I was wondering what that thing was.
Look at that. Look at your guys' face.
Oh, look, it's us. It's so shiny. What is
Beautiful.
That is
What is
it?
I just got this in the mail. Oh, my camera's moving. I just got this in the mail. It is a $1 million in sales plaque from one of our affiliate partners, AppSumo.
Oh
yeah.
hell yeah!
Wow.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's fantastic.
Thank you. That it is weighty, and it looks so good in this.
So
They want you to feel
did
like
$1 million
their
in
commission has been
sales
worth it.
through AppSumo.
We made almost 2 million in sales just through AppSumo. So,
Wow.
and then we've probably made another couple million outside of that.
Yeah.
And we don't even have an X account. We on this. That's
Incredible.
what's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and we've done
And
that
your company
through
is TaskMagic.
TaskMagic.
For those that don't know, what is it?
It is a browser automation tool.
Okay.
Where you can essentially automate your types, clicks, and your browser activity. So, like, unlike Zapier or Make, where you need an API connection, or essentially you're reliant on Airtable to make a API or an application programming interface action or trigger. And if they don't give you that thing that you want to do, you're stuck. So, like, you can't automate inviting a user to your base in Airtable. And that
Because
always
there's no
frustrated
API for that.
me. Correct.
Yeah.
And that always frustrated me. So we built TaskMagic to kind of like cover that gap that like Zapier left behind, which was, I just wish this thing could click that button. You know, like that's cool. Edit this or when this record gets edited, fill out this form. And then I want it to invite someone. Why can't it just type in their email into this field and then click that send button? You know?
Right.
So like, we kind of built that and it took off.
Have you ever seen Let Me Google That For You? Do you know that website?
No.
Oh, it's a troll tool. It's basically like when you're supposed to, the way I've always used it is if someone asks you a dumb question in Slack or something that you obviously don't know the answer and you have to go Google it, you can go to Let Me Google That For You, and it records the screen of them typing it in Google, clicking a button, and sending you to Google with that query. And you
That's a great troll site. And like, so who was behind that? Do you know?
No, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
It's been around for a while.
It's very much like that, though.
Yeah.
Like, and since I don't know if you know this, but like the way we hit like this 1 million was just like straight up talking shit to Zapier. Like, it is like beef is marketing 101. They kicked our app out of their app store or whatever you call their app store or whatever. And on the week of our launch, I appealed it and they still denied it. But I was like, we're not competitive. I want our users to have the API piece, and then they can click things with our browser piece. So they go, no, denied. And I go, fuck you, war, right? I took it very personal because I have personally built like 3 6-figure companies on the back of like Typeform, WooCommerce, and Zapier. So I was very hurt by this. Honestly, very torn up, scorned lover, scorched earth kind of.
How could you do this to me?
Yeah. Like Zapier was my was the love of my life, and I told everybody this, you know. Yeah. And my NoCode love of life, and it was a dream of mine to get my own Zapier app in their store, and they took it out, and I was like, no. So what we did was we built apps into TaskMagic's browser automation. So now I've just been attacking and stealing their customers ever since. And it seems to be working. So like now we just have a bunch of free users and people that are like, we're just undercutting them on price because we run more lean.
And so they could have benefited from having you in their app marketplace by getting more credits to be used there. But instead they were just like war. And now you've beefed them the whole time.
Yes. No, dude, so it's like if you go to moveyourzap.com, that's ours. That's our freemium. So like that's my troll site, and we get so many people to do it every day. It's not.
great.
I think we're approaching. No, we've surpassed like 20,000 users, and I think our freemium model, MoveYourZap.com, we just launched like a couple months ago, and we have like 8,000 paying customers.
Wow.
That's
so
fantastic.
like, yeah, it's now millions and like growing, and we're growing just based on that. So it works
just
out
on
well.
this war.
Just on this war.
It's crazy. You identified the gap they had. Like, you can't click the simple thing. That's what people really want. That's what automation sounds like when a Zapier is pitching, right?
Yes,
so,
yeah,
like,
correct. Oh, automate your daily whatever. And it's like, but what if I just simply want to click this play button on Spotify?
Yeah.
Like, what if I want to do that? And I can't do that, but I have to click that goddamn button every morning to play my thing,
Yeah, start my coffee maker. Let's go.
Is this something that they can just build into
maybe
Zapier?
But like, they would have to do, I mean, they're overthinking it. They're going to like prompting something, and like again,
now a code editor or something.
Yeah, dude, it's something like, let's prompt this step, and you're like, it's way easier for me to just click this button and record it. And now I think they've gone so far beyond that, like, but then even if they did it, they would start charging some outrageous fucking price for it, which was another thing. For $29 a month, you can get unlimited flows with us.
Okay.
So because I know the margins are there, and they charge, oh my God, if you go full stack with Zapier, you're talking hundreds of dollars a month that small teams, solopreneurs don't have. So like, I've spent my time selling to these folks, like working with these folks, and I don't want to pay $130 a month to just go from this form to my Google sheet or whatever. And send a welcome email. And it's like, this is the most asinine shit for $130 a month. And I don't consider myself like a cheap ass,
Yeah.
So there's something there.
TaskMagic
I wish I had this like 6 years ago. My first internet dollar I ever made was selling hairstylist license renewals. So basically, this is the stupidest thing I've ever done. I sent postcards to hairdressers in Alaska, because in Alaska all of their addresses are public because they have licenses, right? You've seen these little the license.
That's great. That's great opportunistic
right?
thinking.
Yeah. So I sent the ugliest postcard I could design, purposely ugly, to see if it would work. And I got people basically to go to my Squarespace website and fill out the form that they would fill out on the government site, but it was harder to find the government site, and like, it sucked. And they would fill the whole thing out, pay the fee, pay their license cost plus $25, and then they were all and in Alaska they all renew on the same day. So the day before they were supposed to renew, I just opened the website and typed in all their information, and I hit buy, and then I just made $25 a click, like every time, and like, we got thousands of dollars through this stupid postcard,
dude. That's so great.
That's what we
one. That's great as like an entrepreneur. And two, that's exactly what TaskMagic is there for.
Right. The government doesn't have any API. There's no chance.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. I've been trying to clarify that message, because a lot of people even in NoCode really don't know what an API is. Like, that's the people I'm trying to go after. Are the people who there are so many people who don't know what Zapier is.
I know.
That's what I'm talking about, the tech bubble.
Yeah. Like,
it's just not even an option.
And you know how great it is to be able to sell into that? Like, and you guys do a great way of
and to find those people. It's like that. Yeah. What do they go by? Like, what is their titles? Like, they don't identify as that.
Correct. Yeah. Right. They go by like stay-at-home dad. You know what I mean? Like, stay-at-home moms. Like that is the people who should be using this. And it's like, NoCode doesn't talk to them on their level. Yeah. Right, but Jeremy can.
Know what NoCode is.
Yeah. JJ can. David
energetic
can.
Jeremy can.
Yeah, I'll be in your face.
Yeah.
I recently was invited to my local chamber of commerce because they're like, we just want to be taught some of the latest AI stuff. Right.
Nice.
And so I was like, all right, I came in and they brought the whole chamber in and like a whole conference table. It's like 30 of them. And I went to the front of the table and I was like, so who knows what Zapier is? And nobody even knew what Zapier
Nobody.
was.
What is a Zapier?
Yeah. And my local chamber of commerce. And I was just like, okay, well, let's just start there. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now
All
you
right,
can go, what is TaskMagic? And we
There
can
you
start. By the way, I started attacking Zapier's freemium model. Because like Zapier's freemium model is absolute fucking trash.
Very limited.
Dumpster fire. Yeah. Like 100 tasks, you can't do multi-step, right? So it's just one. And I don't think you can, there's no premium apps. So you can't even like or maybe they did just now include like you could do a filter or something, but you cannot use it.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, just move your most used Zap over to TaskMagic. Like save money on your bill, do whatever. But like, it's worth it to have that kind of like freemium model. You can use this, whatever. Knowing that we put in the right friction points. Like if you wanted to make a second flow, you got to pay $29. Sure. And we have been converting at 8% from free. For into the thousands of people.
Yeah.
So, and I'm like, damn, like, so we have something there. It's just about getting the word out more and more and more. So, like at Chambers of Commerce in Rochester.
So with TaskMagic, you essentially taking like a Loom-like video and that's recording your screen. And then you can use that to then create that automation of your cursor and typing and all that kind of stuff.
Yes. So we have like what you would consider like a Loom thing built in where it will capture every step as you record it inside it. Yeah, absolutely.
Beautiful. And then in addition to that, you also have like a step-by-step automation builder similar to that of a Zapier.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Gotcha. So you can step by step go start with this app, right? API is always easier to do and more reliable, right? And then if you want to click a button, type a thing, or scrape a site, we have a separate button built right into the canvas that does that for you.
Right.
So we've tried to make it as easy as possible for people, improving every day. But like, I think like, I mean, not to keep shitting on Zapier, but keep shitting on Zapier, which is like I think they're overshooting the mark on growth, right? Like they got so big on what they were known for, which is these API things. And then they got big on margin, right? How else can you raise only $1 million and grow to 1,000 people? You're fucking price gouging.
Probably making money somehow.
You're gouging people. Like they're paying $180 a month and it costs you 18 cents. That is how you can scale to 1,000 employees on margin, So
that's true. So what would you say I have two related questions. What are most people using it for? And what is the most complicated thing you've seen built?
Dude. So someone built a weather site with they took like they had like their site, maybe it was in Bubble or something. And then they took weather stats from like the Weather Channel or something and added, maybe it was like a sports thing, like an outdoor sports website that they had. And then, or like a golf site or something. I don't know. I'll have to recomb our thing. But this one person was taking weather stats from the Weather Channel and then grabbing locations from Google. So they would grab locations from Google, weather stats from the Weather Channel, and just scrape those data sets from those two places and then put them dynamically on their website. So like, because you can go grab something or scrape something from Google results, right? Or the Weather Channel. Another person made like a stock ticker thing where they like grabbed data from whatever, fucking Bloomberg or something, wherever it was, like Yahoo or whatever. And those people, either their APIs are thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars a month, or I can just go scrape it.
Right.
So like, that's another thing. And then we had one person who was like a freelancer. They were able to migrate domains from one registrar to another. That was a cool one. Oh, yeah. Another one was
all automated.
all automated. So like this
Right.
was a good one. So ClickUp, the organization, is one of our customers.
Yeah.
And someone from one of their teams, one of their jobs was to create Gmail accounts.
Okay.
Great.
And like they used our tool to create a shit ton of Gmail accounts and like test a bunch of stuff.
That was one of my questions for you, is like, could this automation create an account for someone and then kind of proceed?
Yeah.
And this is dynamic enough that like you can feed it a spreadsheet of something,
correct.
like a list of
Yeah.
things, and go, okay, this is
Yeah,
David
and it can
at
just loop through
gmail.com,
them.
and then okay.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
So
I
like
have
you
a
can
use
go
case for
right
that.
through it, and like you can attach a list, and then in that list you can just loop through like all your steps. So you can enter in a variable or whatever. So for instance, like they would have a list of domains, and then they took those domains from GoDaddy or from, I think it was Google Domains, which got bought by Squarespace a bit ago.
Mhm. Yeah.
And then they wanted to move all of those to GoDaddy, I think it was. So they took all of those domains and then pushed them to another registrar completely. Normally that would be a manual thing, but they had hundreds.
Yeah.
So how much would you pay for that tool, even on a one-time thing? It's like, I'd pay thousands of dollars for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's another thing another complicated thing that they do.
But are most people using this for work or just things at home?
I would say the tool, like we just launched it last summer. And our team is somewhat small for a reason. And it's like we have over 8,000 customers, and I'm not kidding you, 6,000 different use cases. Like that's the thing, and the challenge we're addressing now is there is not one flow. I just rattled off 6 to you that like were literally 6 things that out of 8,000 people, we have thousands of dailies, thousands of daily active users that are doing something different. Every single person is doing something different. If I had to guess what some people are doing the same, it's like, okay, Facebook got rid of their groups API, but you can automate Facebook groups with us because we don't rely on their API.
Gotcha.
So that was a big thing. That was a catalyst for growth for a bit. And like, we don't have to play ball with these people either.
It's a browser. It's going to be hard for them to cut it.
Yeah, right. And every time we update it, they can update their browser detection software, and then we update, So it's like, all right, great. So we were able to like, think about this, like LinkedIn probably puts tens of millions of dollars into this, and you can automate LinkedIn with our thing. Right? Like look, that trophy doesn't say 100 million. You know what I mean? Like we ain't that great, yet like we can still automate a lot of the things that other people can't. So like automating like LinkedIn outreach, like cold outreach, follow-up stuff, like a lot of sales and sales ops that you can't do with Zapier. So it's kind of like the plussing of it. One tool to just like automate every tool that you use.
How did you
do you remember Circle?
Idea?
Circle. You got to know Circle.
Yeah. Communities.
So this was a good one, but it's a little more technical. So you needed SSO or whatever, and it again, quit this. The plan to get SSO was like $350, and I'm like, I'm not paying that for one fucking feature. So what I did was, every time someone filled out a form for entry to my group, I would just automatically take their login creds from our site and then give them back to them like I would normally have to do anyway, essentially like giving them a token on our back end. And then they would get in. So like we didn't need SSO at all, right? So like we could go in and invite their email and press that send button, and we didn't need to pay Circle $350 a month. It's like, damn, dude, I'm sick of paying $300 a month for like one feature from one software product. And it's like, you greedy fucking VC backed bastards.
So
Wow.
you mentioned that you had built multiple companies before TaskMagic. How did you come up with the idea for TaskMagic? And when you said last summer you launched it?
Last summer we launched it. We've been working on it for maybe like 18 months before that.
Okay.
And one of my first ideas was V1. So it was like a no-code apps builder or whatever,
Okay.
like back in the day.
Oh yeah.
Wait, JJ, I know you work for Softer now, right?
Yep.
Yeah. This one, baby.
Yeah.
I stole
Golden Kitty?
that from Softer.
Yeah.
In 2020, we won No Code Product of the Year on Product Hunt.
With what company?
With V1.
Oh, literally, it's called V1. Okay.
Yeah, V1.
Okay.
Yourv1.com. We'll probably relaunch it since you guys have lapped us. Like,
We're
lapped
doing good.
us hilariously great, right?
Mm.
Software, I use Softer. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
So
for your
like
business.
I use Softer and Bubble now, and we'll re-release V1 to like our audience. But Softer is a great fucking product. Great product.
Thank you.
So, but at least early on, we were pretty good.
So you were really early into this space. So what?
Yeah,
I guess
yeah.
let's take it even before that. How did you find out, or how did you
I'm
get
looking
into
at this
space?
V1 website. It looks oddly similar to the TaskMagic website.
Maybe almost like it was just a copy paste Webflow job.
It looks very similar.
Yeah. So with different text.
Wow.
Yeah.
The logos are also similar. You didn't bother changing.
No, dude, it works so great for both.
No, it's great.
You know? All
right.
It's
great.
Thank you so much for saying that. So if it looks great, you know, like I'm not reinventing the wheel.
No.
You know, like I must have paid like 20 grand for that. So I'm reusing the shit out of that.
There you
So
go.
JJ, I think your question was how did I get into it before that even? Okay.
Yeah.
So early on, like 2015, 16, I was like big into no code, or like I wasn't a technical person at all. Right.
Sure. Same here.
And I was like, how do you spin up a website that you want to add functionality to? And it's like, then it was like WordPress, you know?
Ditto.
And I spun up this site that was like, had like 84 plugins, like barely ran. And it was like a WooCommerce checkout with like a form builder attached, like Ninja Forms and like an earlier version of Typeform, and Zapier on the back end to like control it all. And it was just like a checkout where people would build build this screen, or I want this kind of thing, or I want this kind of thing. And then I would just like make it behind the scenes, essentially, with like a developer or whatever. Like I would pay someone because I would get the money there and ahead of time. And I'd be like, all right, 2 weeks, and I'll give you this simple app or whatever. And we did that for like a year or two. And then we were like, when that started to get confused as a dev shop, because people would come to us and go, but I want this to be like that. And it's like, ooh, you can't really do that with this. So we started to productize it more. Like, how could we make this like a self-serve product? So that's how V1 came about.
Gotcha.
And like, so we were kind of like this, like no codey app builder that like a non-technical person could absolutely run on their own without being an engineer or having an engineer as a co-founder. So that's kind of how we got there. And then we kind of pivoted to TaskMagic from our app builder customers.
And it's killing it. Like the growth is crazy. It's been a year. This is 3 million in a year.
A year and change. 3 million in a year. Yeah, 4 million, something like that.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's
with
so
like
great.
4 people.
Yeah.
Like I'm so proud that like we have, and we were able to like buy 2 other companies. I think it was 2 other companies. So like, because we're so lean, it's like you start to think about different customer acquisition strategies. Like most people are like, I'm just going to put money into ads. And it's like, why not just like acquire some companies for low millions or hundreds, thousands, like smaller things, and then get those users and make sure they fill some type of mission that like are somewhat symbolic of what you're trying to accomplish. So
I don't know if you saw this. There was a guy on Twitter, works for Spellbook Legal, which is like an AI contract drafting something.
Okay.
He basically
Better
was
Legal?
like,
Not Better Legal.
No.
No.
Spellbook. And he was like, I don't want to spend $1 million on Facebook ads. If you have customers, I'll buy your company.
Yeah.
Like, I'll just buy the company and they can, like, if it's related and close enough, that's our customer acquisition strategy. Literally acquire the customers. I don't know.
Yeah,
So
dude,
what companies did you buy?
I bought NoCode Exits newsletter / website,
we know that
whatever.
one.
Yeah, that's the softer site.
Okay.
And I'm turning that into a club.
Great. We love Kat. She's done a great job with that newsletter.
Stop. Kat is a dream to work with. She's amazing.
Yeah, she's really good.
And great then I bought a cold emailing company, like a pre-revenue emailing company, automation company called MailLead.
Okay.
Shout out maillead.io. Their team is with us now. And that's like raising money, doing some things, making revenue. Funny enough, here's the power in it, right? Like when you're doing this. So I acquired the email list or the whole platform or whatever it is. And we just put this like little tab on the newsletter site that was like free Zapier alternative. And I swear that's driving all our free users. Like I swear that's the only thing. And then we bought MailLead pre-revenue and I 6 or 7x'd what we paid for it in 7 days because of that strategy, where it was like, I know our customers will love this product, right? We built an embedded TaskMagic right into it, made our own MailLead app right inside our app builder, and then like helped deliverability, automated a bunch of that stuff from the back end, and sold into our group. And it was like, boom, done. So, incredible. And then we'll do the same strategy,
do this again,
partner with affiliates, things like that, and just like do it again and kind of build growth, build both.
That's that is a really good way to grow the company instead of just hoping Zuckerberg can deliver you more customers.
Oh, dude, I'm deathly afraid they just will shut you off, right?
Yeah.
So like that's why it was an email list and another company that
distribution.
Yeah, correct. So like things that we could either distribute to our group. And again, I think when you raise a bunch of money too quick, you have to listen to investors.
Sure.
Where like, I've always thought like, all right, we'll raise a little bit and figure it out on my terms. Then when it gets serious, we'll raise the A or do whatever. But like, still trying to like figure out like what that true product market fit is. And the predictability is somewhat it's a challenging thing, but going after it, it's starting to color in the lines now.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't sound like you're that far off.
Yeah, I'd say you'd hit it.
Maybe everyone says that. Everybody I've talked with is like, you've hit it, go after it now. And I'm like,
I mean, 8,000
I don't feel that way.
Seems like it.
Like something in me is like, I still have to work for every dollar.
Yeah, I mean, it's a moving target, it's always changing, but it feels like you got enough thousands of people, some of which are really excited about it, that are doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's an early sign.
The early signs are definitely there.
Yeah. Where do you see it going forward in the future? Like, you're going to raise, you're going to build a team. Like what does the future look like?
Should I break down what our big idea is here with you? Should I?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
David's like, yes.
So
I want to hear it.
This is, you guys might want to put some ads behind this. This is the big idea behind what we're doing is automations is like step one, right? We have a desktop app. So the number one thing is the value prop needs to be good enough that someone will download your desktop app. Okay. And on one of our plans, you get unlimited automations because you use your local compute, right?
Oh.
The compute that's just sitting there.
That's why you want your desktop app?
Correct.
Gotcha.
So like, and what's funny is it costs us nothing, right?
Beautiful.
And a lot of our customers we've gotten a lot, like, do I need to upgrade to cloud or not?
Yeah.
And they go, I have 2 computers just sitting here, And I'm like, no, you can run it right on that. You can like just leave it plugged in and on, and it will run all your stuff, right? Just like we would in a server, or you can pay the extra $1,000 and do that. So we've now created a network of tens of thousands of laptops, right? Like M1s, M2s,
Compute
M3s.
powers. Yeah.
Yeah. So like the big idea, and it will probably be the big idea, is
Shared local compute power.
Mhm.
You been watching Silicon Valley?
no, no.
That's the kind of idea for that show.
But the great part of it is what value do you give outside of that for them to download your app, right?
Yeah.
So like that's why it's hey, now you want to make money you want to sell your local compute that you're not using, right?
Yeah.
So we've been able to experiment with little things with it, and we will eventually wide release it. That's the really, really, really big $100 billion idea, that if you come out with that product today, it's not trusted, right?
Sure.
Like, what are you going to do with my compute, right?
My computer's going to blow up.
Correct. So we're just going to
how do I
pay
make
you for
sure
your
nothing
compute,
else
and you're
is-
like, what? But like we've been training and working with thousands of people to do exactly this, to run automations. So if other people want to run automations and build automations, and you can ding, 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 automate anything, not just what some company wants to give you, you can do anything on this shared local compute strategy. So that's the big, big, big idea. Like we'll raise when that becomes more substantial. Right now we can fund ourselves.
Is cloud compute just still that much more expensive that it just doesn't?
Are you kidding me? Like, think about this. You need to be Elon Musk to like buy enough compute, right? But like this M3 computer I have right here that's only being used a third of my day could run a shit ton of AI applications right now, because it's just me using this. It's not shared with anyone.
Yeah.
So like if I'm not using it, someone else can use the other 2/3 and run their applications. Like I don't need to go to NVIDIA when they can get to me as a small consumer and say, and how much does that cost? And what's it going to cost in 5 years? Right? So like, where am I in line to get these chips or these GPUs? Right? So, but like I can use this like today, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't need to ask permission from NVIDIA or Apple or Microsoft, whoever is buying 3 Mile Island, to like have this compute. So that's an idea we've been kind of like working toward.
I love it just generally of like, I don't need to pay more money. I can just use my local device and just make it more efficient than, what I'm using now. I think that's a great premise in itself.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
So what do you think is happening? I think we got like 10 more minutes here. What do you think is happening with the no-code industry going forward? Like, where do you think these players are going? And we see a lot of people going enterprise. We see, Zapier included, a lot of people rolling up, going full stack.
Yeah.
As this industry continues to mature in the next 2 to 5 years, how do you see it kind of playing out, if you have any predictions?
Yeah. So and I'm not really in the prediction game for how other people do it, or even like an ecosystem or where it goes. I really am focused on like current existing paying customers, like not even current investors. It's like, great, you guys cut a check, here's an update. But like talking with our current customers, the one thing that I can tell you that's going to happen in the no code landscape is people are going to stop paying for shit, right? Because like Zapier costs way too much money, right? They're way too big. I see this like huge fragmenting in the no code landscape where Airtable is great and they keep adding certain things and limiting certain things, and you can only take it so far. But then you discover Xano, right? And you're like, okay, I can do everything I can in Airtable and Xano, but Xano's like 18 times the price. And every single person, and not to be like a macro economist here, but like I am truly sick and tired of like paying, of like death by 1,000 like subscription cuts.
You got to pay here, you got to pay here, you got to pay here, and they all work
Yeah,
together.
like Dude, it's so funny to me, and I think you guys adjusted pricing. And like early on, like I've always been like a pricing person. I
Mhm.
know why Softer wants $350 a month from whoever, some enterprise or a bigger customer.
Mhm.
They're way less of a headache, you
Mhm.
know? And it's like something needs to happen where there needs to be more inexpensive products, right?
Mhm.
Sustainability is key, but Zapier shouldn't be $150 a month, right? For a certain number of tasks, or $400 a month for team or whatever the hell, you know? And it's like consumers are almost being left, right? Like, but
Yep.
they still need the products. So
Mhm.
while you see like this no code landscape mature over the last 3 or 4 years, you also see prices going up, them selling up market, right? Like, and a
Yep.
lot of it
Mhm.
has to do with expectations and growth and margin. And you're like, so many people, that's why I love what you guys are doing. Because it's still like consumer, like prosumer,
Mhm.
helping and owning that education layer. And I really still believe that there needs to be an entry point to so many people, because all of these people are being left behind. Like you
Mhm.
said, like, nay, no code's been around for whatever, but that is this tech bubble that we're in, this no code bubble, or like people have raised a bunch of money or done a bunch of things or built a bunch in tech. And it's like they sit around in a board meeting and go, how do we sell up market?
Yep.
How do we
And
make
they
more
kind
money?
of throw, I
Mhm.
know firsthand from talking with like some former head of community at Zapier, that their freemium users were like, just like throw them in a community. Like no one wanted to deal with them, you know?
Don't want to
And you're
provide
like,
support. Let the community provide its own support.
yeah. So like there's something to be said about that. And I wish there was an understanding with freemium users that it's like, hey, here's what the service is. Like we know you need a bridge or a stepping stone to get into like a paid plan or whatever that is. But I think all the change, to sum it up, is going to come on the business model side. So like I believe SaaS has proven unprofitable. What? No one has gone public in the longest time. It's like they're reaching these like profitability issues, and that's why selling up market helps, because the margins are greater. I think something's going to happen on the business model side, and I'm trying to experiment with that now. And we've charged like lifetime consumption pricing, right? It's helped close the sales cycle down so far, because it's like there's so much trepidation with spending even 20, 30, $40 per month forever, right?
Mhm.
When I only use or vacation in some of these no code tools, versus going, you can have 10,000 records a month for $800, you know?
Right.
So like whatever it is, I think the land will, or the tectonic plates will, the shift in the business model in no code versus the actual platforms.
Do you think? Well, in the business model might shift into maybe more consumption based instead of just flat fee. I mean, we saw Bubble do this with their workflow units, although they did it, I don't
Oh,
know,
those
arguably
effers.
poorly.
Yeah.
But all of these products are also trying to, except for maybe Softer, right, trying to be simple and glide to some extent. Most are getting more complicated, more difficult to
Yeah, I was gonna say
learn.
Softer is the easiest one to use, which is why I still
Yeah,
talk about it
And
and
we
love
want
it.
to stay there. Like
Yeah.
that's our thing.
Softer is my go-to starting point, I would say. So
Yeah.
props
They,
to you and the team, and Miriam, who
she's great.
I kind of know, who I think is coming on the YouTube in a few weeks. But like, I should have you guys on mine, by the way.
let's do
We're
it.
always open. Yeah.
Dude, you
I
guys are
think
great.
I would bet in 3 years, Softer is not the simplest tool anymore. Like
Really?
I mean,
I
we're
think
trying to keep it that
I
way,
know,
but
but you're going to get pulled just like every other business into
That's
an
yeah,
enterprise, a
yeah,
feature. The feature becomes complicated. The new designer is now
yeah,
disconnected from the
yeah.
full product, and you need data
Ooh, that's
analytics
good, David.
and I think I
yeah.
think the whole cycle moves, and this is why there are waves and generations of technology. I just don't think that you can stay as simple as you are now as you continue to add more and more features, because you will lose
part, right?
customers just like Bubble lose, right? Everyone migrates off Bubble when the app scales. The same thing's going to happen with these as well.
Max Haney recently attended the summit with me, and one of his observations was in 2021, all the businesses were selling to individuals, to creators, and now everyone's selling to businesses and enterprises, and that was a massive change for him to see.
Right, but the product has to
see
change for these enterprises.
Well, they need to grow. Like each year they need to grow, and so they started with individuals and creators, but each year they have more pressure to grow and grow. And so,
JJ, tell me this though, because it's like, who's telling them they have to grow that way?
It depends on the company. But I know one company, I'm not going to say them by name, but they were focused on, they wanted to be available to all, but their growth was a little slow. And so they got pressures for their investors that they need to grow faster. And so now they're focused on 1,000 person or more companies, enterprise.
Right.
And, like, it's like very simple. Like, all right, we let you try to do that for a while. Your growth wasn't there. Now you need to go enterprise.
Yanking your chain. The VCs, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to skip over the absolute fucking brilliance of what David said, which was, that is exactly what is happening. Like, I never thought
the playbook.
It is the playbook, and it's definitely the VC playbook, right? Where like you have to grow and you have to keep growing. I seriously I don't believe in the zero or unicorn thing. Like I don't believe in it. Like I believe if you could fund like a seed round and make a $20 million year company and have 30 employees and return money and return capital, that's still a net positive versus raising $30 million, making 20, everyone's losing money. You're not returning money to LPs and having the pressure to be a $3 billion company. It's like that.
This was like the comp fund.
Right.
Tyler in the comp fund. We're thinking about raising some cash. We've been calling it an activation energy. I work on in a legal tech product.
Oh shit. Okay.
I've been calling it an activation energy round. I just need a little bit of cash to hire a couple people to get the flywheel moving.
I love that.
and then we don't want to have to raise again.
Yeah.
Right. We want to like let the product grow, and look, if I can draw $1 million a year, that's not terrible.
No,
right?
it's
like,
not. You're
fine.
doing a service for people. You're hiring people. You are a net positive. You can make the argument like VCs create jobs for a few years and then go, we're going to zero, right? You're going big, you're going home, you're getting sold, people are getting, let out of the door. And it's like, there is the medium, there's just not the medium for people like Sequoia who raise $1 billion and need to turn that into $3 billion. Right. Yeah. So like, but there is like the early seed, what'd you call it? Like the activation
energy.
Yeah. I love that.
Like an enzyme.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
Enzyme round.
Do you have like a science background?
I do. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds like it. So like that to me is like a very special POV I have not heard. So maybe you need to have more energy toward that, or I need.
I have lots of thoughts about. We could talk on your show about
this
VC and bootstrapping. My last company was bootstrapped, and that's the way I like it.
It
sounded like I was about to break into a song.
Yeah, it did. I was like, oh, maybe that's
the way I like it.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like VC and bootstrap and products. I mean, I think there's the allure of the TechCrunch, Forbes 30 under 30 prison route. And
the prison edition.
And then there's like everyone else building companies. I was at a dinner last night with a bunch of Princeton graduate school alumni.
Is that where you went?
I went to grad school at Princeton.
Okay.
And it's funny, we're sitting around the table and, we're talking about this conference that's coming up on campus and what we want to see. And I was like, I'd love to see some entrepreneurship tech stuff. And everyone's like, Princeton has entrepreneurship. Like people come out of the Princeton and go be entrepreneurs. And then we went around the table and like people were saying what they do, and like a lady ran her own architecture firm. A guy was like a big lawyer who ran his own practice and was like the fiduciary for a bunch of businesses. This other guy had a custom furniture company. And I was like, you guys are all entrepreneurs too.
Yes.
Like there are different scales of, you don't have to get to $100 million to be a successful entrepreneur, right?
Yeah, you don't have to be a fucking unicorn. Like to call yourself an entrepreneur. That's not the definition of an entrepreneur. It's like, you know, that first business you were talking about, like that you started with the Alaskan
it was called Plaster. Permits and licensing as a service. I know, right? I know.
Great branding. Nice work.
Yeah.
So like my definition of an entrepreneur, because you have to define this, which for yourself, but like is the ability to see an opportunity and then accumulate the resources to exploit that opportunity. Like that's entrepreneur to its core, you know?
Yeah.
What tech entrepreneurship is completely different, right? Like
pop tech entrepreneurship.
That's a good one. Yeah. Pop tech. Yeah, pop as in like pop culture, right? Like,
Not soda. Yeah.
So like for me, I think, dude, you're right. This is probably one of the greatest I've ever had, let alone on record. So like, because I'm with you.
All right. Let me just interject this real quick. At the summit this past week, we met with an enterprise customer, Softer. I'm not going to say which, but it was a major entertainment studio in Hollywood, right?
Okay.
It rhymes with Schmizny. Schmookus film.
And they were essentially like, we need a product management tool for all of our shows to be able to go in there and track VFX for all of our shows. And it needs to be very easy to use. And essentially, we would have had developers building this before, but now budgets have been cut, and now we need to build it. The two of us need to go off and build this. And they're like, we think software is the only way we could do this kind of thing. And that's what everyone else told us, right? And so like a major Hollywood studio no longer has the resources to hire development teams, need to build it themselves, and now are coming to us to do it because we enable anyone to be able to build it.
Yeah, that's great, dude. That is part of my dream. That someone comes to me and is like, dude, I can, by the way, a company that rhymes with Schmooniversal is, I just saw signed up for TaskMagic and I was like, fuck yeah. Like, I was like, dude, I was like celebrating it, you know?
Yeah, of course.
Like I am a big fan of Softer. I have a love-hate thing with Bubble, you know? Like, and Emmanuel, because I know them all from back in the day, but like, it's funny to me. So I'm very happy that you guys are doing well. But I'm back to the $13 million thing and me pissed. I'm very proud that we only raised $1 million and we've made over 4.
Yeah, you know, that's very impressive.
Like, I don't know if Softer is there where they have 4x'd or 5x'd what they've raised. But like they've probably raised like 15 now, publicly anyway. And you're like, did they I think to myself, and you don't have to comment on any of it. But like, there's no way they're at 50 million. Do you know what I mean? Like, you think to myself, and I'm like, no, they can't. 50 million's a different land.
That's a whole nother.
Yeah, like, so I'm very proud that like that return, you know, like I was able to do this with very little resources. So like proud of myself and the team and just not giving up.
Would you ever buy back just go to the investors and say, hey, look, you put $1 million in, I'm going to give you 4 million and the rest we're taking.
I would love to. We have bought out some people on our cap table.
Cool.
Oh, great.
Like just to like get the cap table clean, you know?
Yeah. Liquefy them.
Yeah. And it's not like I'm offering everything to anyone, but like on a case by case basis, that's fine. Like I'm open to it. My goal is to still build the largest company I possibly can, whether it's on my timeline or theirs. And if it's not, we can work something out. But like, the goal is to update you when I can or whenever you ask, and then build the largest company. My goal is to still take it public, but on my own fucking terms. So like, because the second it's not on your terms is the same second you are no longer an entrepreneur. You become an executive who works for a board.
Yeah. I mean, and you were saying earlier that, you're somewhat of a stay-at-home dad, you have that flexibility. Like, where else can you get that? Like, you're building a company in Los Angeles, you have the
Yeah.
flexibility to stay at home, still doing what you love,
Yeah.
small team, but profitable. Like, kudos to you. Like, that's
Yeah.
Thanks,
incredible.
man.
I actually don't think building a small company requires less energy than a big company.
I'd agree with
No.
that.
Like, you're
Yeah.
just working your
Yeah.
ass off.
Yeah.
It doesn't
It
matter.
almost
Like, if
requires
it works,
more
it
because you
works.
you
Yeah.
can't really delegate. Like, people like to say you can,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't. So it's like, in every person you bring on that's not like a legacy hire, like, and you lose some organizational memory when someone leaves, you have to replace that for the new person, and that takes 2 months of like real hardcore dedicated time.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
it really is like a balancing act of keeping like a core group, which we've kind of had for the last few years. But really, I agree with you. I agree. I think it's probably harder to do what I'm doing, or what you're doing.
There's a beautiful thing about small companies that are growing quickly and profitable. I think we're going to continue to see a lot more of that in the future because of people able to do more with less, no code, AI, all this kind of stuff. You can do so much more. And so I think it's going to be a growing trend. And I think bigger companies are going to start getting smaller too.
I
There's
agree.
going to be a lot of contraction happening. So
I think they should be. Like,
there should
you're
be.
seeing even Meta laying off a bunch of people.
Well, that was because of the gift cards or the.
No, engineers just being able to code so much faster with
Wasn't that in
coding
LA, by
tools
the
and
way?
whatnot.
Weren't they in LA? Like, leave
Sounds
it to.
like the.
Yeah, sounds like
must have
something
been.
some fucking Los Angelinos would do. Fucking order from Erewhon and shit.
Yeah, like, I want a
you know?
Halle Berry or whatever.
Yeah.
The
Give me that Halle
smoothie is.
Berry smoothie.
The
Halle Bieber smoothie.
$35 Halle Bieber.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate to admit that I like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm
you
gonna
can't.
order it now. But like, yeah, I hate
And now I know
that.
where the 4 million's going.
Yeah.
Just to Erewhon.
Yeah, the 4 million goes to Erewhon gift cards,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
no one can fire
I
me.
didn't realize they were
You
on
know?
my cap table. Neither did they.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I like
think-
your POV
yeah.
too, JJ, as well.
Yeah. Any last words before we get you out of here, Jeremy? Where can people
Sorry.
find
Last words.
more about
Yeah.
TaskMagic?
We'll help you move your your most used Zap over from Zapier. Like, dude, give it a try, because at a minimum, do one flow. It's unlimited runs, unlimited steps. If the app exists, it's completely free. Get your Zapier bill down from 106. Most like Zaps or whatever are like my plans historically were triggered by like one thing that took off, right? And it's like, you have 677 tasks on hold, fucking ransoming my tasks, my automations, And it's like, move that one over to TaskMagic, and you can love on both. I like the usage. I like the idea that we stole some customers from Zapier, lovingly, and hopefully Wade takes notice. He fucking knows. He knows. I fucking know he knows. Like, Wade like helped me early on, which, dude, that's why getting knocked out of their store hurt even more.
Yeah.
Because like, I was on a Zoom.
Would you go back in if they're like, all
Fuck
right, fine.
no. Fuck no. No.
That would kill the whole thing. The whole
I have
message.
made so much money. Like, the only way I would do it. No, we've now built our own version of Zapier inside. What they did is like easier than what we're doing. It's easier. It's harder to fuck up. It's easier to fuck up what we're doing, and we do it every day. We fuck up shit all the time.
Sure.
So like, they can't take that risk.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Of like something fucking up. We can, but then we can just add Zapier right on top of it. Now that we've gone down that route, it's like, we can save our customers more money in the time and the business model POV that I just mentioned. It's like, that makes me truly feel good at the end of the day. Like, because I personally don't want to pay for Zapier's price,
Yeah.
And then
and
whatever else.
I think a lot of people are getting gouged and they are looking for alternatives. And there's so many different ways you could do it now. It's like, okay, where can I pay 10 to 20 bucks a month and do everything?
Yes, correct. Yeah.
And that would be
Reasonably
on
speaking.
TaskMagic.com.
And that
And what's your Twitter handle?
have one,
the
do you?
Jeremy Redman.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
If you just Google Jeremy Redman, like the YouTube comes up and the Twitter comes up and whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
You're gonna see a lot of energy.
can they
a lot
subscribe
of good
me?
energy
A
going your
lot of
way.
good energy. We're
Yeah,
bringing
yeah.
JJ and David on as well to talk about the ecosystem and David's science background. Okay,
Let us
you
know.
guys are terrific, by the way. Good team.
Thanks.
Great
This
team.
has been a lot of fun.
Appreciate it.
All
We'll
right,
talk
take
to
care,
you
guys.
soon.
All right. For all of you out there listening, if you are in the market for any kind of software development needs, check out Studio NoCode. It's our agency that's built on Bubble experts with nearly a decade of experience building all kinds of Bubble apps. Marketplace, social network, payroll company, catering business, data room, ad tech, legal tech. We got a little bit of everything. We've seen it all, and that helps us translate all of our knowledge into your app to build the best product for your customers. We built it professionally, we built it to be secure, and we built it to scale. And we're going to do all these things on time and on budget. So if you are looking for help getting off the ground, getting something to market, or anything in between, give us a call or an email or a carrier pigeon or whatever you want. Studio-nocode.com. We'll probably be there.